Okay, now what? Well, you already done this side. You're golden. You're good. Let's go over here and put the safety back. One of the things is we have our original pin that we put in there for the short one for the sear that's in the way. So that needs to be slid back. So slide that back out of the way and make sure it's past the trigger block area, but don't go too far back where you just lost your sear, okay? Otherwise, you're going to have to rip this all out again. Grab your safety arm, put a little lube on that, and then stick it back like this. Top side on first, just like this, and clip it on there. And then slide it down. Get the spring out of your way. I just leave this spring on and deal with it. If you got to do something over here, just lift it up out of your way. If you got to go up here, just lift it back down. And then put some lube on that, right? And then slide it down through. If the sear pin's out of the way enough, it'll go right past it. See that? And that's great. Now you come down here, this pin's going to be in the way, so slide that out, even with this. And now it's catching the spring again. No big deal. You're just going to take this and tap it back. You can even tap it back here if you want. It's just on a newer rifle, and then here, stick this pin through. Work the safety in that way, and then get this pin so it's even on both sides. And there you go. You got a pin that's doing double duty. It's holding this safety in check. It's holding this safety in check. And then now we have the sear pin to deal with. So let me get that ready. There's your sear pin. If you've emptied around your gun and several times, you're going to wear these edges off. That's the way it is. The gun pins are soft. If you did, then you have to re-bevel them. Put a fine bevel, nice smooth bevel on them. I'm going to lube this up. Get my punch. And I'm going to try to push this pin out. I'm going to try. If I don't get it through this side, which is my side I like to get, well, then I have to do it the other way, this side out. But the reason I like to have it this way is because of the safety plates. But either way, it doesn't matter. Now lube up your pin and work it. Work this like that. This is working the sear up and down as you know what I mean? And then that'll make the pin clear. Now if you notice over here, you got the pin right at the safety edge. It's not going to go in anymore. You're going to have to tap that in the rest of the way. Okay, now we're all golden. We're back. This will operate just fine. We got to put the spring back on. So that means we got to break the barrel. And what happens when you break the barrel? Well, the cock and arm goes back. This is going to want to go back more, so push this back. This ain't going to be going back if it doesn't have a spring on it, so you got to push it back. Now you get ready with the spring and connect the two. Like this. Let's take a look at that. Now that, the way it is actually okay. But, you know, if you were done and you knew your gun was going to be fine, I don't know what you did to it, I wouldn't close that up. And I would not do anything. That's good right there. I would wait. You may be taking this gun apart. Most often when you work on a gun, you're going to be taking it back apart because something's not going to be right. And I hate to say that, but that's just the way it is. You may put new longer guides in, and now your guides are too long and you need to cut a spring or something or whatever, but that's just the way it goes. Anyway, now you got this all connected. Look down at the pins. They all need to be even. They're staggered all over the place. Use the trigger as a guide. The trigger has a tit on each side, so use that as a guide and stick these pins evenly on both sides of it. As best as you can, looking straight down. This one's a little over too far, see? Slide that back. Look at your trigger pin. You got some there, you got some there. That looks about right. Now you got to put this guy back. So he's already back, but if it isn't, just push it back like that, and then just take this, spread it apart a little bit and hook it in, and now that's done. And remember, I said if this comes and it's hooked around and not L-shaped, then straighten it out. Otherwise, it's going to bind that. So when you're done, you want lube on this, because this goes back and forth. So you want to put lube on that. Right? And lube up in here where the two pieces meet. And then when you put lube on something like that, work the piece. Work it back and forth. There's also a thing where, because of this trigger block, it actually could be slightly jamming your safety right now. Because when this goes back, there's just a wee bit of play. And if you find out you put this all back and your safety seems like it's stiff, that means you need to take your whole trigger block and try to wedge it to the other side a little bit. Just take your screwdriver, push it down between the safety pins and the trigger block, and just give it a little wedge. And if there's any movement that needs to come over here, that'll push it over and should free up this whole action of your safety. Okay? You don't need to worry about the sear, because the sear will be fine. Now you're ready to fire that trigger, right? Let's see. Safety's on, so take it off. The barrel's closed, so fire it. Now you are in a position to cock it now. Okay? And that's how that kind of goes. So once you get it back on, wipe the excess grease off, of course. Look, this whole thing is a mock-up, okay? It's not splitting atoms here, and we're not, so don't be so critical. I'm just trying to show you, if you run into a problem, what to do with it, how to get in, how to get out, and then you'll be okay. And I've taken the part that looks scary and I made it look simple for you, I hope. So you still got this guy to put on, and make sure you got the lock washer. Stick it on there. I would not Loctite that yet either. Save all that until you got the receiver into the stock and you're shooting it. Make sure the gun performs and is giving you exactly what you want. Because like I say, you're going to be a good chance that you're going to have to go back and take it apart to adjust something. Okay? What do we say about these receiver pins? Make sure they're even all the way back on each side. Make sure they're even. Make sure you don't have one sticking out a little bit, because your stock won't go on otherwise. It's going to put a nice little dent in your stock when you try to put your stock on it. So go down here and look again. This pin's out too far, so I can slide that over. So at this point, you're just going to inspect your rifle. You're going to take a good look at what you just did. By now, basically, you're putting stuff back. You were already in here, and I am just showing you this detailed part of it. Correct? Okay. And you got extra lube somewhere that don't need to be there, well then get rid of it. Anyway, that's that, and I hope that makes your life easier. So from there, you can take it from there. You can get inside your receiver and then take your barrel apart and all that. I may do a film on that. I'm not sure. But at this point, at least I've shown you what you're going to be involved with here and gave you a little show and tell what the parts look like and how they lay out and what to do and what not to do. All right, this is Mike saying take care and be safe.